Super Bowl champions.
E-A-G-L-E-S,
Swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
What?
Yo, draft day, 1 day away there, cuz 1 day away we got the draft day. Ooh, I can't wait to hear that sound.
That sound, man.
Hear that sound.
There are very few things in life that invoke a reaction,
But that is one of them.
that sounder, play it, man. You gotta play that again because it's like that sound, man. It just
It gets you.
it really
It hits you
does,
in your
man.
feels, bro. It hits you in the
does.
feels.
And I can remember like this was always like a good like father-son thing for me and my pop. And we used to like unfold the Inquirer, the Daily News, have it was spread out all over the living room. And just being in the next room, hearing that sound, running to see who got picked, man. It's just a cool time of year, and it's like it's that building part of the year. And as much as we saw guys change teams in free agency, this is where teams, I think, where really build their teams. And the stat I saw, Rich, do you know how many players on offense for the Eagles were guys that they drafted? That started in the Super Bowl.
10 of 11.
Correct.
Only one who wasn't was AJ Brown.
Correct. Who they used the draft pick to, right. So the fact that they're able to build the depth within this team, I got all the trust and belief in Howie Roseman that
Crazy to say.
right? Because it wasn't long ago that there were a lot of questions, and between him getting banished during that Chip Kelly era to really having to build up that cachet to the point now where, I mean, he's as shrewd a GM as you're going to find, I think, in most of North American professional sports.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you on that. It's just it's going to be exciting, and I'm excited to see where players are going to fall and what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So
it's going to be interesting. What's up, Chris? So let's dive into it, Don. Let's dive into it, man.
Oh, well, listen, we've spent a lot of time over the course of the last couple, like maybe month, touching on guys at the top end of this draft, right? We know that the pool of talent from where they're going to pick at 10 or where they could pick around 10 is going to be really, really deep.
Yeah.
And I think there's a pile of guys that I think are going to be there that they're going to be okay with, I think, which gives them a lot of flexibility to feel like if they want to move back, collect more assets, because we know that they're going to pick early. And then there's this huge gap in the middle of the draft where they normally are building the back end of this roster where they don't have picks because they've moved them in other deals. I think you're going to see a little wheeling and dealing. And I think we're going to be happy with whoever they pick at that spot because it's going to be a position of need.
Yeah. I'll just be like, I agree with you, Don. I agree with you because, like you said, they're going to have to figure some things out. But that's where you go with the vet depth, right? You do the same thing that you did last year. You go get the Linval Josephs, the Dominican Hughes, the guys who are proven vets, winners. You go out and you grab those guys, and that's how you round out your lineup. You don't have the draft capital in those later rounds. But essentially, most of those guys you're going to be drafting in the 5th, 6th, and 7th are going to be your project guys. So is it you take a shot on a project guy, or every year you just go sign a vet who can give you 10, 11 games? So, I don't really look at it as being that important. How many 5th, 6th, 7th round picks actually are elite? I mean, you have like Tom Brady, and that's like it.
Right.
So, and I mean, that's a quarterback position. Guy fell into a great system, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But how I'm looking at it is it's okay to not have those. It's okay to move away from your 5th, 6th, or 7th round picks, because you're going to get your compensatory picks that they're going to get. They get a few of them this year. Next year, they're going to have a bunch. So it's okay to just fill in that back end of the roster with vets, because that's what's going to happen. There's plenty of guys who are going to be out there on the scrap heap that, instead of it being a project, they know what they're doing, they know their role, and they come in and they execute. So it's not too bad. It's they have 2 picks in the first round that are like you can't miss, because it's either they can trade back and grab a guy, or they can stay put and take a guy, or they could trade one of those for, a Derrick Henry, a Budda Baker, or which I don't even think you need to give up that much. I don't even think you need to give up a 1 for a Budda Baker, because there's nothing. And Derrick Henry's contract, you kind of got to look at being like, well, I'm going to give you a 1. What are you going to give me in return besides Derrick Henry?
Right.
So, I mean, you kind of saw how, the Aaron Rodgers deal went down with the trades, potential 2 1s, but only 1-1. And you're like, oh, you think they get more? Well, that's what happens when you hold a franchise hostage, and that's what happens when you're owed a lot of money.
Right.
You really can't be spending 4 number 1s on a guy and, expect the deal to get done. It doesn't happen that way. But Don, what are you thinking, bro? You got your player that you want them to draft in the first round?
I do.
And who's that player, Don?
Rich, it's a guy that we've talked about for forever. I love what I see when I see the opportunity to pair Bijan Robinson in this offense. And I went back, Rich, for the first time, went back and watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There was barely any defense on that field.
No.
And something that you've talked about in and around this conversation. Put as many bullets in that gun as you possibly can.
And fire away.
And see if you can stop it. If another team shuts you down, more power to them.
Yeah. But it shows that they're dominant. that they deserve.
This league is built around around offense.
Yeah.
So I think, and you put Bijan Robinson, you get him for the first 5 years of his career, his best years, on a cheap deal. You put him in a dynamic offense where he doesn't have to be by himself like he was at Texas.
Yeah.
He blocks well. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He's elusive. I heard Louis Riddick talking about comparing him to somewhere in the neighborhood of Edgerrin James, LaDainian Tomlinson, and
Edgerrin James. That's my boy.
Edgerrin James. Like, if I'm the Eagles,
yeah,
I don't even think twice about it.
No.
Because that makes them instantaneously elite. And when I look around the NFC, now listen, there's a lot of firepower in the AFC. But when I look around the NFC,
there's not that much firepower.
No. Like,
it's either they had the firepower and no quarterback, like look at San Fran, firepower, no quarterback. Well, good luck utilizing the firepower when you don't have a quarterback. You can't do it. The Giants, no firepower. The Cowboys, some firepower. But again, not really. Washington, no firepower, no quarterback. Yeah, you got Scary Terry, but that's it. Carolina, nothing. Tampa Bay, firepower, no quarterback.
Right.
Saints, yeah, firepower, but they have Derek Carr. Atlanta, nothing to worry about. Go across Arizona, no. Seattle, no. Minnesota, no. Green Bay, no. Bears, no. Detroit, yeah. But at the same time, no. They're on the up and up. They're coached well.
Mhm.
But Don, yeah, that's my guy. If he's there, that's my guy. And I'm not even thinking twice. I say
I'm
thank
not-
you,
Yeah.
and I just go like this. Stop us. Stop us.
And Rich, I heard Howie Roseman talking about draft philosophy, right? And something he said kind of made it click for me that not only is this guy like high on their radar, but this is the guy they covet. Is that he goes, we have an opportunity coming off a Super Bowl to pick in the top 10. We don't plan on picking here very often.
Yeah.
So we are going to take a guy that is going to be a franchise-altering player.
Yeah. And
If I look around, out of the pool of guys that are now listen, there's some elite talent. If I look around, that's the guy. Like the Christian Gonzalez's, right? The Tyree Wilson, the Skoronski, Jalen Carter. They all have very elite talent traits.
but they don't catapult you into being unstoppable on defense or unstoppable on offense. Bijan Robinson will catapult you into that elite offense that try to stop us offense. That every play in the playbook is open at any time. And if you use the same philosophy you used, like I said last week, against the Chiefs with Bijan Robinson, and you decide to go, hey, we're going to take 15 minutes of clock and we're taking basically the whole first quarter. And we're giving you the ball if we're on the field for 26 minutes and you're on the field for 4 in the first half, you have to score 3 touchdowns to play catch up in 4 minutes. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Eagles could single-handedly do what they want on offense, and their defense only has to play 6, 7, 8 minutes a game, potentially.
It's wild.
If they did it correctly, and they would score on every single drive. You would just have to make sure, okay, we're scoring touchdowns, and now the other team has to press to score touchdowns with us. And once you get up to that 14-point lead, and then all of a sudden you're running the clock for 9 minutes, teams are going to press. Mistakes are going to happen. You don't have to worry about your defense being elite.
Yep.
You just fucking score. You need one stop. One stop with an offense like this is a 21-point swing, adding Bijan Robinson.
And Rich, let's not overlook this, right? They still have elite level talent on defense too.
They do.
Right?
They do. They do.
So
Nakobe Dean is going to be a monster this year. Nakobe Dean is going to be one of the best interior linemen in the league this year. I am calling that.
I love it. I'm here for it all because I think, you're going to see Jordan Davis. You're going to see that play count jump.
Yeah.
You're going to see, but you're going to see Hassan Reddick. You're going to see Brandon Graham. You're going to see Fletcher Cox. You're going to see they still have a lot of bullets to fire on defense, even though they did, losing Hargrave is that's a big chunk of production out of this defensive line, which is why I think maybe at 30 they go D-line. Right.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at a couple of guys, right? I'm looking at guys like Kalijah Clancy from Pittsburgh, right?
Okay.
In that, I don't think it's fair to compare him to Aaron Donald, but coming out of Pittsburgh, he's going to get that, coming with him. If a guy like a Nolan Smith, who's in the mid-20s, if he falls, kid who is same size, same speed, same specs as Hassan Reddick, right? Put him on the other side. Maybe that's a down the road replacement next year for Brandon Graham.
Brian Brees
from Clemson. Hold on one second. There was another guy too. Miles Murphy, right? Those guys, if those guys, because here's what I think, Rich. I think you're going to see teams panic for quarterbacks.
They are.
I think so. And in a minute, we'll put out some bold some drunk draft predictions.
Draft predictions.
Here we go.
Stay tuned.
So Rich, who's the guy that you like at 30, maybe?
At 30, I'm fine with either of those guys. If I'm just going off of like the size and athleticism, like you could totally give me Miles Murphy. You can give me Brian Breesy. You can give me, I'm not like Cam Smith. I'm not opposed to if we want to go corner there for the Gamecocks. I'm not really,
He's not giving you J.C. Horn vibes.
He's not giving you J.C. Horn numbers, but I mean, if you're looking for it, if not, he falls to the second round, you're fine. But yeah, those are the guys I'm going to target. I'm going to target a big boy interior lineman, and there's going to be guys that fall. So
100%.
You might get lucky and have one of these guys, who are ranked in the top 10 fall because teams are going to reach, trades are going to get done. So you could get somebody. I mean, I like Brian Branch too. If somehow he falls, if Brian Branch falls, I'm taking Brian Branch because I just love me some Bama players. I love me some Georgia players.
And Rich, that's something not to overlook, right? The Eagles in their most recent, couple of drafts, they are not straying far from the elite level talent.
Yeah.
In the SEC, because the talent pool that's there is so much greater than any of the other conferences that I think they go there first by default, and they're getting significant production. Right, guys like Landon Dickerson, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Hurts. Like you're getting guys that have played elite level college and have been incredibly productive. So I tend to want to lean towards the SEC first.
I agree.
The Pac-12 last.
Yeah, not don't need that.
No, not at all. Rich, let's go sleepers.
Okay.
So let's talk.
What are we doing?
Guy.
Second round?
Okay, let's go second round.
Let's go second round. 'Cause I was thinking for the second round, we're picking still pick 32, right? Mm-hmm. So in the second round, we don't have another second round pick, I don't believe, this year. Mm-hmm. So it's just the one. If we're going to stick with like the defensive side of the ball, like I have no problem going with either what's his name? Javon Dexter Sr. from Florida. He's a big 6'6", long, lanky. All things that are teachable. I like that. Or, you can't go wrong. It's so funny because I was looking at the list. You can't go wrong with either Byron Young. Either or. You got from Tennessee edge rusher or you got the Bama edge rusher. But like I would say, I would stick with the SEC. So I'm sticking with a Bama guy. I'm sticking with a Tennessee guy. Florida is the ACC, but Florida has a decent program. He doesn't seem like a knucklehead. That's fine. But if you want to go like, a little off script, sleeper for me in the second round. Oh, man. So it was between two guys, and I was just looking at their size because I thought they were way bigger than that. Was Tyler Scott from Cincy, the wide receiver, or Jalen Hyatt, Tennessee's wide receiver. Okay,
so like in that third wide receiver role.
Yeah, in that third wide receiver spot. Like the production of Jalen Hyatt in 2022, 67 receptions, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns.
I mean, listen, I love the production. I love the idea of building that young wide receiver core together.
And he was the Blishnikov Award winner.
There we go.
In 2020.
Rich, I'm staying on the defensive side, right? And that second round pick is at 62.
Yeah.
The guy that I'm looking at is a guy from Notre Dame.
Oh my God.
Edge guy.
Spot on at the 62 rank.
Isaiah Foskey.
Yep, Isaiah Foskey. Spot on at number 62.
Foskey.
Well coached, man. Well coached.
Yeah. And listen, in terms of an edge guy, right?
Comparison is Brian Orakpo.
Ooh.
Not mad about that comparison.
Ooh, I'm not mad about that at all.
Not mad about that.
And listen, if you're looking for an edge guy to set the edge, right, and force the teams back inside, especially with a lot of this the read options, the RPRs, the RPOs.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt to have a guy who's 6'5", 265 on the edge, in a rotation next to Jordan Davis, next to Fletcher Cox. So try to run, right? If you got a guy that's 6'5", 265 on that line, right?
Dude.
He's a guy that I really like in terms of getting a lot of value, and a guy who was productive at Notre Dame.
Yeah. Tyler Scott's comparison was Lavernius Coles.
Ooh.
And Jalen Hyatt's was Will Fuller. I liked early Will Fuller minus the injury history. But I mean, if I'm the reason why I'm saying Byron Young from Bama, because you got to look at the guy's production. You got to look at, like, started 13 games, 48 tackles, 4 sacks. Pro comparison, Sean Robinson. Okay. He was completely underrated. I mean, he can lose leverage, but he's strong. He's a high motor guy. He's a go.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into some draft vernacular.
But and you play for a system in Bama. You play for a pro style system. So, and if you're one of the underrated pieces, show me what you can do when you're next to Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Von Reddick, Brandon Graham. Like, show me what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I want guys who are in those pro systems. Like, I am very biased to drafting players who played for big time teams, who played in big time games, because they're coached to play in those games. They're coached to win.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not taking the best player in the smallest pond, because that man does not know adversity. If you do not know adversity and you don't know what it is to lose in a big game or to play in a big game, I don't want you. I don't care if you had 80 touchdowns and 10,000 yards on 15 receptions. Like, good for you. Crazy stat how that happened. Oh, because you played in the WAC or you played in the MAC. Like,
right.
Let's go. But Don, give me a nice bold prediction. Give me a guy that you love.
So I'm looking in and around that third round pick, which is 94. And this is, Rich, assuming that they don't already invest a draft pick and a running back earlier on.
Okay.
Let's say that it's Jalen Carter.
Okay.
And not Bijan Robinson. I love Zach Charbonnet from UCLA.
Okay.
Listen, for a running back, big, right? 6 foot, 215 guy but a guy that was really productive in a similar style offense at UCLA. And listen, I know Chip Kelly is, it's a sour word around here, but when I look at the offense that they run, he's a guy who was extremely productive, and I feel like could be a plug and play guy that you could fit into that rotation with the guys that they already have on this roster.
His pro comparison is James Conner, and he looks like James Conner, so that's pretty funny. That's his pro comps. So, I mean, all right,
I love it.
Decent guy to comp to, but yeah, I mean, he's a big boy. So I don't think the injuries that James Conner had would be really in comparison, because James Conner's not as big. But yeah, like you said, pro style offense.
Mm-hmm.
He was coached well, and it's UCLA. UCLA has a good program. They usually play some decent competition throughout the college football season. So I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, I do like, as a guy in that spot, if we didn't address it, Jordan Battle.
Okay.
Another
Bama
Bama
guy I was looking at. Yeah, absolutely.
Another Bama guy. Like, not mad with that. But if I had to go with like a sleeper, I just got to look down my list. If we're going to bring in a guy, so he's ranked 146.
Okay.
And his pro comparison is Robert Hainsey. It's Nick Brocker from Ole Miss, offensive lineman, because you never can not have enough offensive line depth. I mean, another big boy. And, he can play tackle and guard. It's something that they like. They like the versatility. They like versatility, a guy who can play tackle or guard. I'll take a guy who's 6'4", 305. Good.
Yeah, and listen, anybody that you cannot teach size. So anybody that you can get with size that goes into that room with Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing.
You're in good hands.
You can pick that project guy. You can pick the guy who is big and fucking strong, but may have some weaknesses. Well, don't worry, Stout's got him. Stout's got him.
Not for long.
Yeah, not for long. Those weaknesses are going to be turned into a strength. Just need to have it between the ears, but that would be one of my sleeper guys for the third round if we have to get there. Because they're going to address offensive linemen, defensive linemen at least once or twice because that's just what they do. But let's hope for Bijan. Right. Bijan or bust.
All right, Rich, give me one guy at the end of the draft. I got a guy.
Give me your guy.
Listen, for some reason, I'm all over the running backs right now.
I hear you.
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State.
Okay. In the Darren Sproles role. 5'5", 180.
5'5", 180.
But dude is just fast. Dude is just
5'5". He would get lost and killed.
But listen, Rich, you could get lost behind that line. You could get him out in space, right? And he's a guy that you could put in the return game, right? He could be your kick and punt return guy. But Rich, I'm going to read some stats, right? He rushed for over 1,500 yards and 42 catches for 12 touchdowns. Sophomore year, 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns.
I like
a guy that is just really productive. So I know it's at Kansas State. I know it's kind of like it's the Big 12, but a guy who was really productive for an up and coming Kansas State team that played, they didn't play in the BCS, but they played in a couple major bowls over the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it, Don. If you're sold on it, Don, I'm good with it, bud.
There we go.
I'm good with it. I'm going to go with my sleeper pick because I have to take somebody from the U because
there we go.
Nice to have him. A nice 6'5", 55-pound defensive lineman, Mitchell Agundi.
I love it.
Agude. I mean,
it's a good.
It's a good pick. I mean, defensive lineman, tall, fast. Like they're saying right here, it's like, all right, he could be better with getting off blocks, inconsistent shock in the hands. Well, he's fast off the snap. He has good waist bend, and he's got good length. You have him at the edge. That's a guy who is, 6'6", who's going to be batting down passes left and right.
I love it.
That's, to me, a nice project, nice something we can work on. And the U, baby. The U.
Give Tracy Rucker somebody to work with.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. All right, Rich. We're now going to be drunk drafting.
Oh, man.
Do you have any bold predictions? Doesn't necessarily have to be Eagles related. It can be just generically draft related. Anything. I can give you mine. And maybe
4 quarterbacks go in the top 10.
God damn it, Rich. Did you read my fucking notes?
No. Did you really say that?
I wrote down 5.
Holy shit.
I thought 5 were going to go in the front. Wow. I thought 5 were going to go in the first round because I heard someone talking.
I'm going
today.
4. I'm going 4 in the top 10.
Oh, okay. So I wrote down 5 in the first round. Do you know the 5th guy? You have an idea who the 5th guy is?
Carson Wentz.
The kid from Tennessee, the guy who's got the ACL injury.
Hooker?
Hayden Hooker.
Somebody's
going to take him at the. I feel like at the end of the first round, on a complete red shirt, and a team that's in that late back end of the first round, team like Tampa, right? Yeah. They've got Baker Mayfield, who's probably going to play this year. Let him play. Let Hayden Hooker sit. develop him. But a team that really needs that next elite player. He had so many signs of being an elite level talent at Tennessee this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Rich, and so who goes where, Rich?
Man.
So
Well,
you got four guys going in the top 10, 4 quarterbacks,
Bryce,
which I think is great because it pushes all the other position players further
so
back, which makes the pool bigger for the Birds.
I got to look it up. NFL draft order. I just said 4 are going to go in the top 10. So I definitely think the Carolina is going to take Bryce.
Okay.
He's off. Houston Texans, I definitely think they're going to be taking a quarterback, whether it be Stroud or Levy or
I think they take Will Levis.
Levis. I think I think Levis. The Colts are going to take Stroud or Richardson.
Okay.
The Colts need a fucking quarterback.
Mm-hmm. What does Seattle do?
Seattle, I think Seattle goes defense. I do. I think they go after Will Anderson or Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's who they're linked to. Detroit, I honestly think that they're going to be a team that's going to go linebacker or defensive line because
I think they take the kid from Texas Tech. They take somebody on the edge and pair him with Hutchinson.
Yeah, because they need that. The Raiders, I would not be surprised if the Raiders took a quarterback.
Yeah,
because they need one. Who's their starting quarterback?
Isn't it Garoppolo?
Oh, Jimmy G. Forgot about that. Sorry for everybody shares of Devontae Adams.
Yeah, right.
Because that boy can't throw the ball.
And Atlanta, you can make a case. I mean,
Atlanta, they have Ritter, but I don't think they're happy with that. So,
but Seattle at 20.
Seattle at 20, they're in play for a quarterback.
Right. So that's where I feel like they have Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith is under contract.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll is a good quarterback developer. I feel like that might be a spot where you might see Hayden Hooker kind of fall.
I can see that.
Because there's when you look down the rest of the draft order, right? After Seattle, right? The Chargers, Ravens, Vikings, Jaguars, Giants, Cowboys, Bills. Nobody else is taking a quarterback after that.
No. And I mean, yeah, I agree.
So, and I think that also comes into play with the Eagles at 30, knowing that there's not the run on.
What does Minnesota do? Kirk Cousins has how many years left on his deal?
Oh, we gotta look that up.
Are they signing Kirk Cousins again? I don't think so, right? You can't sign Kirk Cousins.
You can't sign him to another contract because he is
what he is.
He is what he is. He is what we thought he was.
You know, it would be scary if they paired the dude from OSU with Justin Jefferson.
God damn.
That'd be a scary wide receiving crew.
Wow.
That'd be scary. You put KJ Osborne. Well, Justin Jefferson runs a lot from the slot, though. So they would both have to flip-flop back on the inside. But, I mean, that would still be scary. But you'd still have Kirk Cousins, so it's really nothing to worry about. Yeah,
so Kirk Cousins, right, his base salary for 2023 is $10 million. He had a $6.25 million signing bonus. But he is not an unrestricted free agent until he's an unrestricted free agent after this year, 2024.
Yeah, so this is his final year.
Yeah.
And so how was 33?
33, I think. Yeah, 33.
33. Okay, so he's my age. Great. And I'm like, yeah, this guy's old.
He is football. He is unproductively football.
He is unproductively football. So, I mean, they could be in play. You know, if like, say, Richardson falls, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't take a shot at it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that would be pretty electric. Kid can throw the ball fucking 2 miles, but I don't know. I like Richardson. I think he's got the talent. I feel like he's got Cam Newton written all over him.
He needs to be with a guy that's going to develop him.
Yeah. He
Like,
needs a
he
coach.
needs, like, it's never going to happen, but he needs like an Andy Reid kind of coach. He needs somebody who's going
What does New England do? Does New England go and get a quarterback? Mac Jones sucks.
If you're asking me, Rich, I look around that division now, right? And Mac Jones is the worst quarterback in that division, and it's not looking pretty all around him.
They're not going to beat – I don't think they're going to win a game in that division.
I mean,
With
listen,
Mac Jones as your quarterback, you're not going to win a game in that division.
you got to put. You're going to end up playing, the freight train that is Buffalo,
Yep.
right? And now you've got Aaron Rodgers on the Jets with the young weapons that they have, where he literally just has to, be point guard.
Yep.
And if Tua knows what day of the week it is,
Yeah.
then Miami's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And there's not a ton around
There's nothing around
Mac
Mac Jones.
Jones. So, like,
Their wide receiving core is non-existent.
bad.
It's Juju Smith-Schuster, which is perfect for Mac Jones because he only throws the ball 4 feet. It's perfect because that's all Juju can run. Juju can only run a 4-foot route. So not even 4 yards, 4 feet. He runs a stupid little drag, catches the ball, and falls down.
Yeah.
And he's a big bitch. So fuck him.
Yeah. Wow.
AJ Brown will fucking kill you.
I love it. And I love that they're going to match up. Match up this year, which should be very, 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 very interesting.
Very interesting.
All right, Rich. Any other drunk bold predictions for the draft?
No, I think Eagles get their running back, and then I think that they end up trading out of the first round and just acquiring assets or trading for a player with that pick. Because
Similar to that Lamar Jackson trade with Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly. Similar to that. And maybe they get Buddha, maybe not. But if the Eagles, if you see that there's a trade incoming when it's the Eagles pick, then you know that they're trading for Derrick Henry, or they're getting Bijan. And either way, I'm happy. I just I don't want Jalen Carter to fall because I want Will Anderson to fall because that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I would take him in a heartbeat. But like you said, Bijan puts us over the top. So that's the guy I want. It's going to be crazy. It never goes as predicted. I'm saying 4 quarterbacks in the first. You're saying 5. There could be 2.
2. Right.
There could be 2 going in the whole round. Like, who the fuck knows? I just have a feeling that interior defensive linemen, they're going to go quick because of just the contracts now in football.
Yeah. I to be honest, Rich, I don't think Jalen Carter gets past like 5, 6, 7.
No. I think if he's there for the Bears, they take him.
Yeah. If he's there for Seattle, they take him. Detroit could take him.
Because I could see Houston taking Will Anderson and then at 12 taking a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think they're going to panic unless the Panthers do something absolutely stupid and then they end up getting Bryce Young. So we'll see. But I'm just excited for it. I can't wait to see what happens. It's always a rush. It's always exciting, and you just have fun with it.
I love it. All right, Rich. The draft day vernacular, right? Between your Todd McShays, your Mel Kiper Juniors, your Chris Bermans, that all of the commentating, right? That all goes on for 3 days. Give me some of your favorite draft day vernacular when they're describing these guys.
He's a high motor guy.
Boom or bust.
Yeah. What's the other ones? He's a mauler. The mauler. I love when they call guys maulers. I'm like, okay.
Fast twitch.
Yeah, fast twitch, a good bend at the right waist. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's got fluid hips.
Yeah, fluid hips. Oh, you love the length on the guy. It's like, okay.
Great football IQ.
Yeah, great football IQ. And then he takes the Wonderland, gets a 16. Can't even spell his fucking name.
God.
Yeah, all the shit that is irrelevant is draft day.
It's
All
so
the
fun,
stupid
though.
fucking, all right, we're going to do everything in naked and nobody's running in your face. You don't have to think under pressure. We're going to tell you where to throw. And it's like, oh, this guy's great. It's like, yeah, I could do the same thing as them, just not as fast because I'm not fast, and maybe be productive. Because there's nobody telling me I can't. There's nobody putting their hands on me saying, you're going to stop me. So when I look at the draft, it just makes me laugh because of the combine and everything and all the preparation that goes into it. When it's just like, is any of this shit actual football stuff? Like,
All right,
are
Rich,
any
I'm gonna.
defensive linemen going to have to jump 9 feet in the air? It's like half of them are going to be blocked so much that they're only going to be able to put their hand up.
Right.
Like, how about you do that? Like, have two people be grabbing on them and see how high they can reach their hand after, like, you have 3 seconds to get your hand up. Like, let's see who can do that. And
Some actual football stuff. Rich, I'm going to give you a description. See if you can pull up the draft vernacular.
okay.
This guy is a good leader and easy to coach. He's a hard worker and takes responsibility.
Oh man, well he's just a leader. He's definitely a field general. He's probably a great football IQ.
He's a great locker room guy.
Great locker room guy.
Like
He shot his teammate. Great locker room guy.
It's got high upside.
He's got high upside.
You're gonna hear a lot of that on day 3.
Oh yeah, high upside. Once he gets out of prison, high upside.
Oh god.
I love it.
So-
Where's he playing? San Fran Correctional Facility. Plays for
Plug
the
and play.
state.
He's a plug and play.
Oh yes, plug and play guys. Oh,
Oh,
this guy's going to be a role player. He's going to be a solid role player for a team, aka not a starter. If they say he's a role player, he's not a starter.
no. Like just to hear these guys, like, the way that you would describe like a fullback, right? The north-south runner.
Yeah.
Just going, like, watching and hearing, going back and hearing some of these, like when I was going and looking at like the Eagles when they make the announcements and then they have the little highlight package, you could almost like it's almost just a series of these catchphrases that like are it's bullet points that aren't even sentences that they're literally just going through, like, here's
knows
this guy.
the route tree, quick feet. Look at the release. Look at the hands, soft hands. He's got really soft hands. It's like he's wearing gloves that are stickier than fuck. He doesn't have soft hands. He's got really good gloves.
Oh my god.
Like, he's not punching the fucking ball. Like, yes, he's catching the ball. It just makes me laugh.
That stuff. That shit is
All
so
good
fun.
vernacular. All good fun stuff that you're going to hear nonstop tomorrow.
Listen, if you want to have fun tomorrow night, put a bunch of these catchphrases on a bingo card
And see who wins.
and then
Everybody
see what
wins.
happens.
I love
Rich, to wrap it up, we're going to go someplace near and dear to your heart. Because we have our Dynasty Fantasy. The rookie draft is going to be, would you say, 10 days?
Ours is in 10 days. Another league that I'm in is in 9. So it's all aboard. Thank God that I had the first round picks in most of them, because it's Robinson all day. It doesn't matter. He's one of those guys where it doesn't matter where he's going. You're going to draft him, and then that's pretty much how it's going to be. And then obviously you got Smith.
Smith and Jigba is another guy.
Bigma, Gibbs, Addison, Johnston, your boy Zach Charbonnet,
yeah.
Flowers, Downs, tight end, Mayer sneaks in there, Bigsby, Hyatt.
Jamar Gibbs.
Yep, Jamar Gibbs. They have Jamar Gibbs as being the third best option. So he's the guy you're going to be looking at like 1-3. So that's definitely a guy that you're going to take with the third pick overall. I mean, if your team has the needs for the running back, but it's pretty much running back, and then everybody kind of like, the quarterbacks are going to start coming off after like probably in the second round, but people are going to reach for it. Like, you got your Bryce Youngs, because it's so hard to call where they're going. After this week, take a look at the depth chart, look at who they're going to be competing against. Some guys are going to fall into really bad situations. And yes, they might be impactful for your fantasy team later on. That's why I like Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
They might not be real. So they're guys who you're going to have to hold on to. Like, don't expect immediate production if you get, a guy like, I don't know, like say whatchamacallit does go there. Say you have Smith and Jigma, and he goes to the Patriots. Don't expect much the first year. They need their quarterback. They have a lot of things to figure out. Yes, is he elite talent at the wide receiver position? In college, yes. But now he's going to be playing in one of the toughest divisions, good defenses, good corners, bad quarterback. So that's how I would look at it. Am I going to take this guy in the fourth at his situation? No. Say, Addison goes to a better, friendly situation in the first or second round. Say he goes to a team like Houston, or he goes to a team like Arizona. Okay, you still have Kyler Murray, you still have bad things, but would you take Kyler Murray and him being the wide receiver 2, or would you take the wide receiver 1 on a Mac Jones-led offense? So just kind of look and see where the guys land before you really want to make that decision, especially like, say Gibbs goes to, Carolina, or a team like Pittsburgh goes and gets him, or a team like New England, Miami, San Fran, like, because they love grabbing these running backs. Elite talent, buried on the depth chart. Right. What are you going to do? You got to see what this guy can do. So when it comes to fantasy, if you can get the first overall pick and you have to trade, say, all your picks in an asset and you need a running back, pry it from the number one, pry it from the 101 guy, because you're going to get Robinson. He's going to go into a situation. He's a generational talent. That's the guy you want on your team. They don't come around often, so you sacrifice the future and you go get them.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, you're gonna in our dynasty draft, right? You're picking at the top of the first 3 rounds of that fantasy draft, the rookie draft. But this is where you can you build the back end of that roster with these young guys that you hope, right? The 101 guy is going to be the guy that's going to be the guy that is going to give you immediate production. But you're looking for those guys that you feel like at the back end of when they start to figure shit out at the end of that, the middle to the end of that first season, right? That's a guy that like you're going to get a lot of production from.
Yeah.
Any quarterbacks, Rich?
No, I don't like any rookie quarterbacks. I hate rookie quarterbacks, but I have to draft one in Dynasty because I have no one. Or I just wait for somebody to drop somebody and call it a day. But rookie quarterbacks I stay away from, because how many situations are they going to come into that are going to be good? Yeah. And how many of these guys are literally going to be generational talents? Like, they're no Andrew Lucks, they're no Cam Newtons, they're no RG3s. Like,
no, nobody's going to step in
and immediately be the guy.
Right.
I mean,
like, Bryce Young is going to play.
He's going to play. But will he be good throwing to no one?
Carolina is also going to be garbage.
Yeah, they're going to be garbage for years. So he could be a guy that, hey, you can stash and hold on to, or if you don't want to wait, give him to somebody else. And when that guy drops a quarterback, then, hey, maybe he'll draft a starter, or he'll drop a starter and then pick him up. You don't have to draft rookie quarterbacks. You don't have to draft rookie running backs. You don't have to draft any rookies if you don't want to. Some people don't like doing that. But, hey, your team. Build it how you want and have fun with it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, like, I'm when I go in and look at the squad that I got right now, really reevaluating that quarterback spot, because I don't know how I got to the championship and won with Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Andy Dalton.
Well, Joe Burrow, right? But reevaluating that Stafford and Dalton, like, those are guys that are
really easy to move on from, but maybe replacing them with guys that are further down on the roster, guys that, could be productive later on.
Agreed. And that's what you're going to be looking for. That's how you're going to build your roster. You drop one of those guys, you drop the Andy Dalton, you pick somebody up, and you call it a day. Why not? The only thing it does is give you upside because you're not going to get it from Andy Dalton. So no such thing as upside with Andy Dalton.
I love it. Rich, final thoughts.
Oh, man, final thoughts. Whew. Well, if you like Pokemon cards, find me on Whatnot. That's where I'm selling all my Pokemon cards. Wheeling and dealing, baby. Wheeling and dealing. Getting some stash. I got a $1,000 pool game coming up in May that I'm going to be running. $1,000 worth of prizes. So, yeah, stuff that I acquired, through the months, some big ticket items. It's going to be auctions are going to start at $17. You go in, take a pull. Cards range from the price of like $1 to $80 in the box. And then prizes are like $100 slabs, $500 box, another $200 box, $200 pack of first edition Gym Hero trainer cards. Fun stuff, man. Shit that I love, dude. It's fun collecting and it's fun getting back into it because I like the art and I just like having the cards. It's fun. Find stuff you like, enjoy it, turn it into a hobby, and try to make some money off it. That's what I say.
I love it.
Final thought. Do what you love.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, seriously. And, to piggyback off that, right, the big news hits over the weekend, right? Rich, did you catch the Welcome to Wrexham show with Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds?
I have not caught it, but I heard it's fantastic.
You got to check it out. It's really good. So that team that they buy a year ago, it's the second year that they own it. They win the league and get automatic promotion.
Oh, they did get promoted?
So, but just cool to see the story. Having watched the series, there's a bar right across the street where the story is that's where it's where the city founded the team. That's in the bar right across the street. They're redoing the stadium. It's one of those things, Rich, that I told Lace, like when we go over to Europe at some point, like going to one of those like small in the neighborhood stadiums is like on the bucket list. Whether it's I've seen there's a show on Netflix called Welcome to Sunderland. Wrexham's got the team. There's a ton of stuff on Amazon, like the behind the scenes shows. But just a cool thing where it's like they wanted to do this because they identified with the passion that is involved with this city and the passion that they have for, and there's a lot of analogies back to about Rob McElhenney being from Philadelphia and his time growing up as a Philadelphia sports fan, and how there's a lot of what he identifies with that fan base is very similar to him being a part of the Philadelphia fan base. So
that's awesome.
It's a super, super cool story. And on a separate side note, I am in a complete man crush with fucking playoff Jimmy Butler. The one that got away. Yeah. But the playoff basketball, playoff hockey has been incredible to watch. So, sports, it's a good time to be a sports fan. If you can't find something on, then there's something wrong with you. You're not hitting the right buttons on a remote, people.
Hit the right buttons, guys. Hit the right buttons.
Rich, take us home.
Well, you stuck around, you fucked around, you found out. Fuck you, Deshaun Watson. I had to give it a little pause, a little more dramatics for the audio only. For the audio only. Fuck you, Spike Eskin. Fuck you, Dallas Cowboys. Davion Taylor, this one's for you. And anybody who's not with us, you're against us. Because Philly, that's what we're about, baby. It's all about Philly. Tomorrow, draft day. Get your predictions in. Let us know what you think. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. 2 picks in the first round. Let's fucking get it. I'm Rich. That's Don. We are Drunk on Broad. Philly, we love you. Peace.
Later. Peace.
This is the Broad Street Line, where Philly sports fans leave all of their sports hot takes. Call 267-405-3062 and show us your passion for Philly sports. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday at 8:30 when we listen to your live reactions to the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat.
Super Bowl champions.